Powerful leaders emerges. After a long rule, sometimes discontentment arises. And arises strikes and revolts. That's what we see here. Welcome once again to News Analysis. News Analysis, a weekly magazine on current affairs. To begin with the main points in a nutshell. Anwar al-Awlaki, Obama hails al-Qaeda death in Yemen. Deadly bomb hits funeral near Iraqi city of Hilla. Greek Prime Minister presses European Union leaders for new bailout tranche. Philippine immigrant maid wins landmark Hong Kong case. Vladimir Putin is more popular than me, says Medvedev. Telangana, India, new state protest enters new dimensions. And now the news in detail. Anwar al-Awlaki, Obama hails al-Qaeda death in Yemen. U.S. President Barack Obama has said the death of U.S.-born al-Qaeda leader Anwar al-Awlaki is a major blow to the organization. Awlaki was killed by a U.S. drone strike in the Juaf province of Yemen along with several of his associates. He believed to have taken leading role in a number of attempts to attack the U.S., including plots to blow up U.S. airlines. Awlaki, who is Yemeni descent, has been on the run in Yemen since 2007. Mr. Obama said that as a leading figure in the al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, Aqab, and directing efforts to murder innocent Americans, and was also directly responsible for the death of many Yemeni citizens. The death marks another significant milestone in the broader effort to defeat al-Qaeda and its affiliates, he said. He also paid tribute to the work of both U.S. intelligence agencies and Yemeni security officials who had cooperated on the killing. This is further proof that al-Qaeda and its affiliates will find no safe haven anywhere in the world, he said, but warned that Aqab remains a dangerous, though weakened, terrorist organization. In a brief statement on Friday, Yemen's defense ministry statement said Awlaki had been killed in Kashif in Juaf, about 140 kilometers east of the capital, Sana'a, along with some of his companions. U.S. and Yemeni officials later named one of those as Samir Khan, also a U.S. citizen but Pakistani origin, who produced an online magazine promoting al-Qaeda's ideology. U.S. officials said Awlaki's convoy was hit by a U.S. drone and jet strike. News reporters say the killing is significant because Awlaki's use of modern media meant he was able to reach out and inspire people susceptible to radicalization.
Of al-Awlaki marks another significant milestone in the broader effort to defeat al-Qaeda and its affiliates. Furthermore, this success is a tribute to our intelligence community and to the efforts of Yemen and its security forces, who have worked closely with the United States over the course of several years.
Deadly bomb hits funeral near Iraqi city of Hilla. A car bomb has killed at least 17 people and wounded dozens more at a funeral near Iraqi city of Hilla. The blast took place at about 17:30, that means 14:30 GMT, outside the Nebi Ayub Shia Mosque in the town of Al-Kafaji, security officials told AFP news agency. Hilla, about 100 kilometers south of Baghdad, is en route for pilgrimage visiting Shia holy sites in the south. Violence in Iraq has declined since its peak in 2006 and 2007, but attacks have continued. The explosion hit mourners who had gathered at a funeral of a local sheikh, witnesses said, damaging vehicles. I was standing on the other side of the funeral tent and suddenly the place turned into hell. and all relatives were cut down and their bodies were burned. Haidar Khotan, 37, was injured in the blast, told Reuters news agency. Ambulances took 3 or 4 victims from the scene at a time, the news agency continued. I heard the blast, then was hit by a glance from the window and my hand was bleeding severely, said 42-year-old Muhammad Ali, who was inside the mosque when the bomb hit. No group has said it carried out the attack, but Sunni militants regularly attack Shia mosques and neighborhoods in an attempt to stir up sectarian tension. Correspondents say the attack is likely to raise more questions about Iraqi forces' ability to take over control of security after U.S. troops are withdrawn at the end of the year. 2 weeks ago, a car bomb exploded near a restaurant used by security forces in the Hilla suburb village of al-Shimali, leaving 15 dead. Greek Prime Minister presses European Union leaders for a new bailout tranche. The Greek Prime Minister has been having a day of talks with fellow European Union leaders on a new bailout tranche Greece needs to avoid bankruptcy in October. George Papandreou met French President Nicolas Sarkozy in Paris after talks with European Union Council Chief Herman Van Rompuy and others in Warsaw. International inspectors are in Athens to decide whether Greece should receive the 8 billion euros. Protesters forced rescheduling of a meeting on Friday morning. Anger continues over austerity measures, including a new property tax, and demonstrators have publicly burned copies of emergency tax notices outside a tax office in the country's second city, Thessaloniki. Meanwhile, the expansion of a general bailout fund for Eurozone looks on track for approval. Jean-Claude Juncker, head of the Eurozone Group of Finance Ministers, Eurogroup, predicted all the Euro states would have endorsed the expansion by mid-October. Mr. Juncker was speaking to Reuters news agency after a lower house of Germany's parliament backed the European Financial Stability Facility, EFSF, on Thursday in vote which tested Chancellor Angela Merkel's credibility.